Here's a dirty little secret of the tarot world. Most readings are wrong. Not kind of fuzzy, not open to interpretation, just flat out dead wrong. And yet, they still feel accurate. They still hit. They still change lives. How is that possible? And what does it say about tarot or about you? Hi, I'm Paul, and this is Tarot Logic, an analytical approach to intuitive reading. Why accuracy isn't the point. When people come to tarot, they expect accuracy. Tell me exactly when I'll meet my soulmate. Tell me if I'll get the job. Tell me if he's cheating. But tarot doesn't care about predictions. Tarot cares about patterns. And patterns don't predict outcomes. They reveal tendencies. So when you demand a literal answer, the cards are almost guaranteed to be wrong. Why wrong readings still land. This is the part that makes skeptics furious. Even when a reading is wrong, it still triggers reflection. You still react. You still ask, wait, does this apply to me? And that moment of reflection, that's the payload. The cards don't have to be right. The cards just have to be meaningful enough to crack open your story. If tarot were meant to be 100% accurate, publishers wouldn't make decks with 78 archetypes. They would just release one giant card that says, "Stop texting your ex." The reader's bias problem, here's the real reason readings go wrong. The reader. We project. We filter. We bend the cards to fit the story we want to tell. Your breakup spread suddenly turns into a "he'll come back" story because you can't stand to disappoint yourself. Your career spread somehow keeps turning into "you're destined to be famous" because your ego needs that boost. The cards don't lie. Readers do, even when they don't mean to. Why clients eat it up anyway? Because most people aren't coming for truth. They're coming for comfort. Tarot often feels right because it gives you exactly what you wanted. Validation, permission, a reason to hope. And let's be real. Sometimes comfort is more useful than truth. The psychological mechanism, confirmation bias. Psychology calls this confirmation bias, the tendency to notice only the details that support your existing beliefs. When a reading says, "Love is coming," you latch on to that. When it says, "But it will be hard," you ignore that. So the reading feels accurate not because it nailed your future, but because you edited it until it matched your expectations. Tarot as a mirror, not a map. Here's the kicker. Tarot doesn't work because it predicts the future. It works because it reflects the present. When you see yourself more clearly, you make different choices, and different choices change your future. So a wrong reading still works because it nudges your perspective just enough to shift your reality. So how to read without fooling yourself? Step 1, Ask better questions. Don't ask, will he text me? Ask, what pattern am I repeating here? Step 2, call out your own bias. Notice when you're forcing a card into a narrative you desperately want. Step 3, look for the discomfort. The card that annoys you, scares you, or feels wrong. That's probably the one you need to face. Most tarot readings are wrong, but they still work because they stir self-reflection, crack open denial, and force you to see your story from a different angle. The point isn't whether tarot predicts the future. The point is whether it disrupts the loop you're stuck in. If this episode shattered your trust in accuracy, good. Subscribe to Tarot Logic, where we don't chase predictions. We use the cards to make you dangerous with self-awareness. Until next time, read with clarity, read with structure, and always read with logic.